All right, y'all. This is another episode of Oh Charlee Please, where it's faith first, shade second, and I have the Talia cadet with us. I'm so excited about this. Like, let me give you some applause, some head claps, or something, honey, because this has been a long time coming.
Yeah, thank you
Excited
for
to have you
having
here.
me. Yeah, thank you for having me. When you reached out, I'm like, of course. I'll talk to
Yes.
Charlie. I'll talk to one of the realest um in the space in our book space. So I'm
Listen,
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for
yes.
having me.
No problem. So just if y'all for those that are not familiar with you, just kind of introduce yourself and tell them what you do. And I know you from the book space because that's how I was first introduced to you. But a lot of people don't know that you was doing this before this was a thing. So go ahead and just kind of tell the people about yourself.
So hi, my name is Talia. I am to the internet. I am an influencer and a content creator. I got started creating content on TikTok about 3 years ago. And now my niches include books. So I'm always talking about books by Black authors, Black owned businesses, whether it's online, brick and mortar in different cities. And then I'm also DC based. So I like to talk about things to do in and around DC. My first job, because I am a social media director at a lobbying firm here in DC. So social media is pretty much my entire life. It's the first job, it's the second job, it's something that I love, I am very passionate about. And I think because both of my jobs center around social media, it has overall um, made me good at both. So, yeah, I'm a social media girly, and on the internet, I talk about the things that I love.
Yes, and we love a list, honey. We
Thank you.
love a
Thank
list.
you. Thank
When I
you.
tell you, I wish I was a DMV girly, I'd be like, dang, Tyler be having the spots. So let me
I
just
mean,
ask
but
you.
you're in
Mhm.
Dallas, right? Like Dallas has things. Like Dallas has things too. Cause I try to keep up with like what's going on in different
Right.
cities. Dallas has things too. So I haven't been to Dallas, but I know where to tap in if I'm ever to visit Dallas. But yeah, the DC has a lot to do. A lot to do.
I would say I like Dallas, but Dallas is more of a pick your poison type of thing. And the problem with Dallas is you got to find out where you want to pick your poison because it's
Okay.
huge here, right? It's just everything is everywhere with everything and everybody. So it's kind of like, do I want to be in Deep Ellum? Do I want to be in Bishop Arts? Do I want to be downtown Dallas? Do I want to go to Grapevine? Do I want to go to Grand Prairie? It's too much and not enough at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And most people I know that have lived in Dallas, they have their feelings. They have strong feelings about Dallas. They're not
Mhm.
all, I don't know if I've met anyone who's like so in love with Dallas. But they make do. They make do.
Yeah, most definitely. And as you all may or may not know, I'm a transplant, so I'm not a Dallas native. I'm from a town called Memphis, Tennessee. Home of 3 6 Mafia and Glorilla. So
Yes,
I've been
yes.
here 10 years now. So it's kind of like I'm adapting, but I'm still adjusting. So I mean, Dallas has its points.
Okay.
What I do want to talk to you about today is, we're in this world of content creation and influencing, and everybody's trying to do a thing and be a thing. I just want to touch on like what kind of got you into this. What made you say, you know what? I think I'm pretty cool. I think I'm a person that people like to listen to online. This is what I'm about to do, so I'm gonna do it well. What made you kind of make that transition but still be a corporate girly?
So the whole TikTok thing, I kind of fell into it. But
Mhm.
even before that, I had done other things on the internet. Like I had a blog back in college that was pretty popular on my campus.
Mhm.
I've done podcasting. I had a podcast for like a year and a half.
Mhm.
When Clubhouse was the thing during
Oh yeah.
COVID, I was hosting Clubhouse rooms regularly around some of the more popular reality TV shows. So, Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, Ready to Love, and like those would be on a weekly basis. And those had a lot of people tuning in, and we got to speak to producers and cast members and side chicks and all of this. So I've always been on the internet. I've always been an internet baby. I'm always on every platform. I'm always trying to see what's new. I'm very in tune to the trends and the memes. But as far as TikTok, I think I joined it during the pandemic, like a lot of people. I was in the
Mhm.
house bored. And I'm like, let me join this app. And I'm like, what is this? And I quickly learned that it's not just teenagers doing dances on I'm like, because I was very resistant about TikTok,
Right.
but then March 2020 happened, and I'm like, dang. So like, I remember the day I joined TikTok, I literally sat in the bed scrolling for like 4 hours. And I was like, oh wow, this app is vast and there's a lot going on. But it
Mhm.
wasn't until like maybe a year and a half, 2 years later, I started making videos, and not necessarily from a I want to be a content creator, but as someone who works in social media, and my type of social media isn't as glamorous because I'm working in lobbying, so I'm working with tech firms and clean energy and infrastructure, like the very unsexy industries.
Yes.
But still, I was like, as the social media lead, if a client comes to you and they're talking about TikTok, what about TikTok? You need to learn, you need to know how to make a TikTok, right?
Yes.
So like those
Exactly.
earlier videos, I was like, I need to learn how to make a TikTok, like the actual mechanics of it, because there was a learning curve for me
Mhm.
when like I was like making little videos in like mid 2022. And then in November of 2022, I went out to dinner with my girlfriends. We were going out to dinner like twice a month. Like, we're like, oh, we're gonna go to nice dinners twice a month. We're gonna be in our luxury and our soft life. We're gonna drink cocktails and eat and all
Yeah.
this. So I went to one of those and I came back. It was super duper rainy that Wednesday night. And I got home, but I wasn't really ready to go to bed. So I thought about something that we talked about at dinner about like, things we'll always have room in our budgets for, and making our lives easier, and luxury and convenience and comfort and all of these things. So that first list was like 5 things I will always have room for in my budget as a
Mhm.
30 something. And I was in my dimly lit living room and that video took off. I did a part two that took
Uh-huh.
off. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't you just like keep making videos? Like, why don't you put a little more intention towards this? You have momentum, take
Mhm.
advantage of the moment. So I just started making lists every day. And then that tagline, hi, my name is Talia. We love a list over here.
Yes, we
Make sure
do.
you're following for daily lists. I don't know
Yes.
when that came about, but I think I don't know if it maybe was like a month or two until that tagline kicked in. And then I did another trend or I started a trend in late January of that next year, and that
Mhm.
really took off. So I'm like, you know what, this is my thing. We're here to stay. And since I have y'all's attention, I want to talk about Black owned businesses because that's something I care about. I'm really passionate about. I feel
Yes.
like Black owned businesses can touch every part of your life. And then I started incorporating book content because I was discovering all of these amazing stories
Mhm.
on TikTok from like Black book creators. So I'm like, I'm reading more. I want to talk about books too. And then, as I travel, I take you when I travel. And I live in DC. I've been in DC for 15 years. So I'm like, I know a little something about, what to do socially in the city. So
Right.
I just kind of had a moment, and I've been trying to build off of that momentum ever since. And now it's a it's a
Yeah, that
thing. It's
that
a thing.
momentum.
Yeah, it's a thing.
You're
It's
in a different stratosphere now, baby. I can definitely tell you that. The thing I do enjoy about your content and what has drawn me to you is, as a woman who is, I can say late 30s now. I'm not mid 30s no more.
no, I'm
Um
36. I would say in my videos now, I'm saying as someone who's almost 40, like I'm
Yes.
saying almost
We
40 now
we
in the
okay, so we
content.
there now. Right. The thing that I appreciated most is that your content is so relatable, right? I see what the young girls doing. They doing graphics, they doing dances, they sing, and they doing a lip sync. And I was like, baby,
And
listen,
I don't
auntie ain't got that type of time. I don't listen. I'm still listening to Jay-Z Black album, okay? I ain't even
Mhm.
up on the new raps. So I think for me, what I do admire about you is that it's so relatable, and it makes it you feel like, hey, I am a little older than some of these people, but there's still a market for me. There's still a niche for me. There's still a need for me. Do you ever
Mhm.
have those moments where you feel like, damn, I need to switch it up, or maybe I need to learn how to do graphics, or maybe Canva need to be a class for me now because I got all these stories. And do you ever feel that pressure kind of like keep up with the trends and doing all of that?
I mean, I'm always thinking about how can I level up what I'm doing. Like,
Right.
I think about like from a technology standpoint, I still have an iPhone 12 Pro Max, right? And,
Right.
the pressure to get an iPhone 17, 18 is always there. I see the camera quality on the 17s and 18s, but I'm like, I don't need the latest phone to make content that people can connect to, right? Like I've
Right.
I've built a business off of this iPhone 12 Pro Max,
Come
right?
on now.
And I'm not the fanciest editor. I'm not doing the dances. I barely keep up with the songs. So I like the fact that like people still connect to me and it's not a production. But also at the same time, when I think about leveling up and like what is that next thing in my content creator career, I do think about like relatability. Like I love the fact that people can relate to me and they see themselves in me and they totally get what I'm talking about. But when I
Right.
think about influencing, when I think about social media, you see the girls who are very successful, you see other people with the brand deals and the brand trips and getting signed to agencies, and you don't question
Mhm.
um, you don't question taking the relatability route, but you do think about, am I not aspirational enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think the super successful, the very visible, um, there's a lot to be had if you're seen as aspirational. So I
Mhm.
do think about, dang, maybe I'm not aspirational enough. Like maybe my kitchen isn't beige enough, or I don't wear these clothes, or
Right.
I don't edit in this way, and then like I'm
Yes.
not some like. So I think about like aspiration, like do like, and I do think when people watch my content, they're inspired,
Most definitely.
but
I agree.
aspirational, I do think about, has relatability kind of like built the ceiling for me. So it's something
Mhm.
I think about, but not something so much so that I'm like, I'm going to do a complete 180. Like I'm not about to do a complete 180 either. So, I do think about leveling up, but
Mhm.
I also feel like I've been able to build this really great brand,
Right.
being myself, um, not being the fanciest, not having the latest,
Mhm.
and people still like that. And I do think people are looking for that too. Like people are looking for things to aspire to. They're looking for the escape from the world, but also they're looking for someone who they would be friends with otherwise if they knew them in real life. So
Right.
I still appreciate this lane that I'm in.
Right. And I want to just segue into like, we've talked about, you being like a regular influence, all that. How has that transition into book influences? Do you see the difference? Like, wait a minute, regular influences is this way. Book influence and content creation have you been, well, I will say you have been successful at merging the two, but can you just kind of touch on like where they differ, where they compare, like do you put too much thought into like if I do this on this side of influence, but I have to do this on this side of book influences? Are you kind of running into a clash of the titans, so to speak?
No, I never feel like my niches are clashing. Like for me, what's most important is that I'm talking about the things I love in the moment. Like
Okay.
my content meets the moment in my life.
Yes.
So if that's reading, if that's traveling, if that's going to museums, whatever, like my content is always going to reflect where I am in my life. So if
Okay.
I pick up a new hobby, if I pick up a new interest, and I decide to incorporate that into my content, it's because it's a reflection of where I am. So I never feel like there's a clash. If anything, I appreciate that people come for the books, they stay for something else, or they come from something else, they stay for the books. So
Okay.
I don't necessarily feel like I have to choose or they're competing. I will say, you know, book content kind of came in maybe around 6 months after kind of going viral for that first time. I
Mhm.
decided to start talking about books and like vlogging about my book club that I've been a part of for a decade. So like books have always kind of been in my life.
Mhm.
And again, BookTok, Black Book Talk specifically, has uncovered so many amazing stories for me. Like I'm reading more and therefore
Mhm.
can make the content because of the creators I see every day on my FYP. But yeah, book content is an interesting niche. Like any corner of the app or of the internet. It's its own world, it's its own community.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I don't want to say segregated for lack of a better term, but like when I'm talking about like when I'm talking about book talk as it relates to me and what I'm reading and who I'm following, I'm talking about black books, black creators. And like we
Most
know
definitely.
book talk is much broader than that. And if anything,
Most
when
definitely.
people talk about book talk, they're not necessarily talking about us and the books we read. And um so I think like any other niche, any other corner of the internet, um, it has its own culture, its own issues, their own dramas, their own things. And I do think from an influencer creator standpoint, I don't know if we get as many opportunities as say
That
some of
place
the
in my
other niches.
business.
We
Mhm.
definitely don't get a lot of opportunities. I've been fortunate to have a lot of opportunities. Like I'm very aware that like for a black book creator who only talks about books written by black authors, I've been afforded a lot of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So I know that for myself, but I know that not all my peers have had the opportunities that I have had. But even then, I just think the book space, I think people really limit the book space and book creators, right?
Yeah,
And
I
when I think
agree.
about my business, it's like I could not make the income that I make off of publishers and moderating and panel gigs alone, right? Like
Right, let's be real.
a lot of my income comes from uh companies from other industries. Um I have a subscription on my Substack, so I make a lot of income from that. I'm on YouTube. Like I get money from elsewhere, but baby, the publishers do not pay all the bills. Right?
No.
I cannot rely on a paid partnership with the publishers to make the money that I'm making. So I do feel like it is limiting.
Yeah.
And I think brands I don't know why brands don't think that book creators can't talk about other things or their audience isn't also interested in other things,
Right,
right?
right.
Like your book creator, they do skincare, they do makeup, they travel,
Hello.
they eat, they do like book creators do the same things as everybody else, right? They watch TV, they watch movies. Like why don't book creators get the same opportunities as
Opportunities,
say the
yeah.
lifestyle, the fashion, the beauty, et cetera, et cetera? So if anything, I think, you know, being a book creator, you enter it for the love of the game.
Oh my Talia,
Right. There
did you read my question sheet? God
no,
dog it,
no, no. Like you like
because you running through it. You got my whole setup. Yes,
you
talk
talk
about
about
it.
books because you talk about books because you like to talk about books. Like
Yes,
they're like, you know, people are successful in this.
they are.
But
I know a few, including you.
you're not making the big
And
bucks.
you're not making life-changing money either. Can we say that?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
say
like the majority of book creators I know, like we're not making five, six, seven figures, right?
they're
Like it's
not.
not that is not typical. You don't make book content to be rich. Some people become rich, and I'm not even rich, but
Right,
I make good money, and
right.
it's
It's been beneficial.
positively it's
Yes,
affected me in great ways.
right.
But baby, the money is in the other niches with the other brands.
Okay.
And again,
I'm glad you said that
yeah,
because
it's
here's the thing too. And I want to just kind of touch on this. So, me and my BFF Nisha, we got refined and ratchet, and we were just talking about, like books and the content we create, even the authors that we interview, and even the opportunity that's been afforded to us. They want you to come to the book events, they want you to host and moderate and be an influencer. And you said something on your TikTok a couple of weeks or last month, baby. When I tell you hit that thing came in the chest,
what I say.
baby, what you had said was after this year, if you want me to come host, moderate, or whatever for these events, you have to put me up and fly me out. And I just
Yes,
think
yes.
that is not asking too much. And when I say this is not to SHIT on event organizers. We get a lot of this is in year one, right? We understand y'all trying to do a thing, you're trying to establish, but y'all have to understand too. We love it when you email us and say we want you there and we love what you're doing. However, comma, I'm showing up. I got to get a flight. I got to pay hotel. I got to Uber. I got to eat. I got to do the face. I got to do the hair. I got to do the nails. I got to do the outfit. I'm already down 2 G's. You know what I'm saying? And I'm being real. So even like when we first came here, me and Nisha been in this for a year. Even when we came into this, we were, everybody was pulling for refined and we loved it. And we was like, girl, this shit expensive. Like,
Yeah.
we not asking for, life-changing money, but R&R gonna have to come with a little bag. On top of that, you want us to podcast, we got to insure our equipment. So when you said that, I was like, oh, Miss Mama's is on to it. And it's like, we know you can't give us a bag like Ulta. You can't give us a bag like Mac. You can't give us a bag like an Airbnb deal. We understand that. But if you can at least put us up and fly us out.
Yeah. No, and I think for me specifically, like I'm getting inquiries and outreach all the time. Like there are quite a few book events who have reached out that I'm not going to because they don't have the budget to put me up and fly me out. And the thing is, like, if I had unlimited resources, I'd go to everything. But I don't have unlimited resources, so I cannot go to everything. So it's going to be a mix of what I will come out of pocket for and attend as a regular reader, and then the things that, if I'm working, that type of compensation is prioritized and is appreciated, right? And I think, even for events that I'm going to as a regular person, like, it's not saying that it's gonna be labor for me, but like I cannot go to a Black book event and be incognito, right? Like I cannot be in the shadows. I cannot navigate these events as like not like I'm invisible, right? So like, baby, the labor of just like
it's a lot.
Engaging with everyone who wants to say hi and hello, can we take a picture? Da 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 da. Like that's labor in of itself, right? So and again, when you're working at these book events, like I gotta read books, I gotta prepare questions. I need a special outfit because I'm about to be on someone's stage. I need to be well researched, all of these things. So it is work, right? So again, we're not asking for, 5-6 figures, but can you cover the hotel stay? Can you cover the travel?
Right.
Like that makes a world of difference. And again, my brand does mean something and it is worth something, right? If I talk about something, people are going to notice, they're going to pay attention. They're going to be like, what is this? I'm potentially exposing your event to a potential attendee, right? So like my platform and my brand is worth something. It is worth that investment because when Talia says, here are the 5 book events I'm going to this year,
the girls is coming.
The girls' interest will be peaked at minimum.
Most definitely.
Right.
Most definitely.
So can we put some sort of value behind that?
Yeah.
And again, if I had unlimited resources, this wouldn't be a conversation. But because I have limited resources, I cannot come out of pocket for everything, especially if I'm expected to work or if my attendance, my attachment to the event is going to bring in revenue for you.
Right. And I think and I will say this because we're gonna call things, right? So someone who is you, or say a Brit, well, she's Brit Unfiltered now. You looking at her number, you looking at her reach, her influence, and it's like, well, shit, if they want a bag, we gotta pay them the bag because that's Brit, that's Talia, right? But someone who has a smaller, I consider myself a micro influencer in this space, right? But I know my reach goes really far, right? I understand my engagement is up there. If I say, well, hey, you got to put me up, fly me out, I might be looked at, oh, who she thinks she is? She ain't. We can get somebody else to. And I think that's an unfair assessment because no, I may not have the following, but you understand the impact that I bring. And not just me, it's some other influencers with under 5,000 followers, right? And they are killing it in the book space.
Yeah.
And it's like you're pulling for them, you're buying for them. But when they ask you, hey, is this a paid opportunity? you want to deem this as difficult, or you go get somebody else who's just like you said for the love of the game. How do you think that's fair as far as their impact and their influence when it comes to those smaller creators?
Well, I want smaller, like I want micro, nano, hyper creators to know that like don't let your following don't let people play with you because of your follower size, right? Because
Period.
follower size has nothing says nothing about engagement,
Nothing.
right? Just because I have XYZ amount of followers, how what is your engagement rate, right? Like what
Hmm.
is your engagement rate? Are you still able to convert? Um, and again, they still want your labor, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
they're reaching out to you to come out to their book event, but they want you to vlog, they want you to document, they want you to talk about it before, during, post. That
Hmm.
is labor, right?
It's work.
So even if the follower count isn't, 50K and up, when a event is reaching out to you to be an ambassador, to be a featured creator, to be a whatever, that's labor. That's labor. So I do think you still need to know your worth. You're still doing work,
You're still
right?
doing work.
They reached out to you despite your follower size because they know that you still have visibility, you still have an engaged audience, regardless of size, and they still have that expectation of labor. So
Hmm.
if you're going to be on someone's flyer to promote this event, you too deserve some sort of compensation as well,
Right.
because of the labor.
Most
And
definitely.
again, if we all had unlimited resources, we'd go to everything. Like I want to go to every book event, but I can't.
Right.
Because one, I have a day job, and two, I cannot afford to go to every event. But if you're gonna reach out to me and be like, hey, we want this person with 350,000 followers and subscribers to talk about our event, to document our event, to talk about it after, to keep talking about it for years to come, um, there's value there. And there should be conversations about compensation, even if it's just a flight or a hotel. Free registration, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
But there you have to like if you can't pay 5 6 figures, you got to alleviate a
Yeah.
little bit for the creator.
Yeah. And I'll say this and we'll move on after this. So would you suggest people, not even just book events, just content creators and influencers, period? Would you suggest they start running those numbers and creating them a fee sheet and saying, hey, if you want me to come do a thing, this is what it's looking like. If you can't give me an honorarium, can you cover travel? Do you think they should already have that ready in their pitch deck to go? Or should they leave room open for negotiation?
I think event organizers, I think in good faith and acknowledging that you recognize creators value their work, their worth, I think it is good to do the outreach and offer some sort of compensation, right?
Mhm.
And then, as a creator, you should also feel empowered to negotiate, to ask questions.
Mhm.
And the thing about negotiations, uh, they might say no.
Mhm.
And if they say no, then it's no, right?
Just know.
But I think in good faith, event organizers who are inherently brands, I think in a sign of good faith, um, try to do something, try to offer something, right? And I don't think,
Outside of your event ticket, but
yeah, I think outside of the event, like can we do a hotel stay? Can we do a flight or something? I think in good faith and recognizing the creator's worth and value, come with something. And again, as a creator, don't be afraid to negotiate. If someone reaches out to you, be like, hey, what's your budget for this? What are you thinking in terms of compensation? And
right.
see what they say.
Yeah.
See what they
Because
say.
a wise woman once taught me, which is my mother. She said the worst thing a person can ever tell you is no.
Yeah.
And if their no is a no, you'll get a yes from somewhere else, right?
Yeah, and be okay to like step away. Like if you really want to go to the event that bad, you can go. But also, maybe you'll just labor. Maybe you'll labor less.
Yeah,
If you're coming out of pocket, you'll labor less because if anything, you really want to enjoy what you paid for as an
most definitely.
attendee. Um, but yeah, be prepared to walk away if you need to. Like, because
Yeah.
again, we're not millionaires, so.
Wish we were. So um, and just to, I want to talk about this because I thought this when you went through this moment and documented this moment, I was like, Talia is really that girl. I want to talk about the Supreme Court case, okay, baby?
Okay,
The
okay.
way you was up there pilling them streets of DC and letting it be known, like, hey, TikTok, we gotta talk. I need to, I just thought, as someone who creates content, who is a black woman in this space, who is, late 30s, I just thought that was so impactful that you took on the stance to say, hey, I know what I bring to culture. I know the value that I have. I understand this platform, and what you all are doing is just simply not right. Can you walk me through that process? Like, were you scared? Were you fearful? Did you think, this is above me? I should let somebody more, established handle it. What was their process going through that dealing with the Supreme Court?
So being a part of the TikTok ban lawsuit, obviously there was outreach done on, the corporation's behalf saying we're putting together a group of creator plaintiffs.
Mhm.
We would love for you to be a part of that group of 8, right? And
Mhm.
for me, it was very much a no-brainer. Um, what I appreciated about our group of 8 is that, like, we're from all over the country. We all have different backgrounds. We all make different types of content. Uh, some of us are full time. Some of us are part time. It was important that I'm like, you know what? It's a group of 8, so I'm probably gonna be the only black woman, right? So like, I'm like,
Mhm.
like we need to have that represented in this group of 8, so like kind of feeling that duty to like represent. And again, I don't speak for every black woman creator on
Right.
TikTok. I don't speak for every black woman who uses TikTok. But I think if you're going to have a group of 8, a black woman needed to be a part of that group, so I'm honored to have been that. I'm also honored at the time, being, you know like, I still think I'm the creator with the smallest following size in that group, right? I think some of my co-plaintiffs have millions of followers. Some of my
Mhm.
co-plaintiffs make 7 figures from content creation. It was still important to like show that, listen, you banning this app doesn't only affect the people who make millions of dollars, who have millions of followers. It affects the micro creators, it affects the
Mhm.
mid-tier creators, it affects the ones who do it part-time, it affects the business owners, it affects the entrepreneurs,
Right.
right?
It
So
affects the
for
whole
me,
ecosystem. Right.
yeah, so for me, it was important to show that, like, your idea of TikTok, as if this is to go away, oh, all of these, like, super rich kids who, whatever, uh, they'll live. It's like, no, like, you need to see the many faces of who uses this platform, who has built community on this platform, who's, made their livelihood off of this platform. So for me, it was a no-brainer participating. I'm like, um, if there's gonna be a black woman, I'm honored that it's me.
Mhm.
If it's gonna be someone who had at the time, less than 200,000 followers, I'm glad it's me. Being from the DM, like, I'm glad that I was able to be a part of this group,
Right.
and kind of add that type of diversity to the group. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. And of course, it was a long process, over a year. So like, the culmination of that, going to the Supreme Court last January, there was a whole year leading up to that, right?
Yeah.
So just, deciding to do this, thinking about the considerations, I think I really had to think, I was like, how is this going to affect my life? Like, am I going to open myself up to harassment and hate speech and all of this? What is my employer going to think? So I did
Mhm.
have those considerations too, but I thought, one, it was a worthy cause,
It definitely
and
was.
two, the corporation thought of me, so why not me? Right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's always kind of like, why not me? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I may not have the biggest platform, I may not be the richest or whatever, but why not me?
Most
So yeah, it
definitely.
was it was it was a no-brainer. And we did lose. And you know, we
You
did
know, I hated that outcome. I just was like,
we did we did
oh.
we did lose, and you know that was hard. Like I low key took it personal, but it's like, girl, it is not personal. Um,
Cause
but like
it's
I was,
and honestly, it's some things that's above us, right? You know, we
yeah,
just we're a small fish in a big pond. We think we doing something great, and it's so much
yeah.
things that happen beyond that
Yeah,
what we
so
can see.
I took it personal. I remember laying in the bed for like the rest of that day. Like this entire year of my life, like for this.
Hmm.
But it was still a great experience. Being
Yeah.
able to build that relationship with TikTok and continuing to build that relationship with TikTok. Like TikTok has engaged me for quite a few of their initiatives at this point. So when they partnered with the U.S. Black Chambers last summer for their national conference, I was in the booth interviewing the small business owners who have found a lot of success on TikTok Shop. When it was CDC week and they're doing their brunch, they wanted me to interview attendees. Just
Right.
last week, TikTok, kind of like the USDS, the joint venture, like the US arm of TikTok, they did their first like initiative. And I was one of the 8 Black creators they brought out to DC to meet with members of
Listen, let me
Congress.
say right quick. I saw that picture. I said that damn Talia gonna be in the room. That damn Talia gonna be in the room.
So
Yes.
yeah, so yeah, being a part of that lawsuit, it was a worthy cause, but also, um, thinking strategically, and people like to conflate strategy with clout. I don't. That's not like sometimes I'm just thinking strategically, right? So yeah, we
Hmm.
lost that lawsuit, and yeah, the lawsuit, it took a lot, but also I've been featured in nearly every major news outlet in the country,
Yes.
right? Like like I got a couple Gettys, like, the TikTok corporate office knows me. They know when to call me.
Yes, Lord.
Um so it's been that was great for the brand too. Right? It was a worthy cause, but also it was great for the brand too. So
Yeah.
um no regrets, no regrets. And TikTok is now they have their own US entity now. And
Hmm.
last week was kind of like their first show to Congress and lawmakers. And again, was one of the 8 Black creators who got to meet with our lawmakers last week. And
Yeah.
that was a great experience. So,
Yeah. I will say too, looking at you go through that process and just trying to keep my finger on the pulse of everything, it taught me what it means to own your brand and your content, and because these apps can be here today, gone tomorrow, or the trajectory of what they do can change as well. And I like that you said, okay, I'm known on TikTok, but let me pivot. And then when I saw you pivot over to Substack, and I'm gonna be real with you, because this is why Charlie has a Substack now. I saw Talia have a Substack. I was like, let me get me a Substack. I just got me 15 paid subscribers yesterday. So to my own horn.
congratulations.
But
Congratulations.
thank you. But it just showed that with content creation, with being on these platforms, you're gonna have to, continuously evolve, right?
Hmm.
Um, when that happened and I saw you make the, pivot to subs, like you haven't given up TikTok because baby, we still be over there rocking with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We still rock,
That's
but
still my
I
bread and
love me.
butter. It's still my
Yeah.
bread and butter. It's still my biggest platform. But it was important that I think when uh after the Supreme Court decision, I think I kind of like really set up my YouTube account. I had already
Yes.
been on Substack for a little bit because for me, I just wanted to use it as like my newsletter,
Mhm.
and like email the people weekly, put all these DMV event guides. And then I think I rolled out a paid subscription model in February of last year.
Mhm.
And then, I'm on Threads. I've been posting more to Instagram. So yeah, you gotta pivot. You gotta exist everywhere in some capacity. And then also you have to realize that, listen, all of these social media platforms, they're not yours. You do not own
No.
them. When it's lights out, it's lights out. When the servers are down, the servers are down. So
Yes, they are.
you want to create a brand where um one, people will follow you, and like if these things are really to go out lights out, like they can find you elsewhere. So I thought it was important to like really start being intentional on other platforms. And again, TikTok is always going to be my biggest platform. Like, I don't think I'm going to I don't think I'm going to hit a quarter mil anywhere else, but
Yeah.
like it's still important that I exist there. And as I meet people, as I meet followers and subscribers, some people only follow you on Instagram. Some people only follow you on Threads,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's important to have a little bit of reach everywhere. And you adapt your content accordingly for each platform, but it's good to exist everywhere in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. I will say that although you're everywhere doing everything with all the people, I enjoy that. To me, and you can let me know if I'm wrong, I think you have a healthy balance of showing up everywhere. To someone who's trying to kind of like, oh my God, do I pay more attention to TikTok? Is it Instagram? Do I need to do YouTube? Is it Substack? What advice would you give those creators and influencers as far as like their social media presence? Are you telling them to do it all? Focus on where your base is. What is some of the best advice you can give in this moment for that?
Um, I do think it's important to have presence everywhere. Like, do you at least have the same have you secured the same username everywhere? Do you
Yes.
have that same real estate everywhere? But also maybe you do pour most of your energy into the thing or into the platform that you can be consistent on,
Mhm.
right? Can
Right.
you can you get in front of the camera and do short videos every day, multiple times a day? If you can, maybe TikTok. Are you good
Mhm.
at the long form content? Can you do 2 to 3 videos a week on YouTube? Then do YouTube. Like, do what you're good at, right? Can you write an essay every week on Substack? Can you thread multiple times a day? Can you post to Instagram several times a week? Like, so wherever you feel like you can be most consistent, pour into that
Right.
and then kind of take it from there. But you should exist everywhere. I should be able to type in your username on any platform and
And
the
find
same
you.
person comes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, know what you're good at, know where you can be consistent, and just invest into that the most.
Yeah. All right. So we're almost I'm about to let you go in a minute, but before I let you go, Talia,
Yeah, what's
I
up?
wanna I wanna play this game with you, okay? So if
Okay.
you heard in the beginning of the show, my tagline is faith first, shade second. So I'm going to ask you a few questions and you have to let me know, will you step out on faith and let it go? Or would you get down and get shady and be like, this is a shade moment, okay? You
Okay,
ready?
I'm listening. I'm listening. Okay. Hopefully I get
All
this
right.
right.
Okay. No worries. So an influencer posts a glowing review about a book they didn't actually read. Is that faith that they did the deed, or is it shady because they didn't read that damn book?
I mean, it's shade, but I also feel like users are a little more sophisticated than that. Like, users know inauthenticity.
Mhm.
Like, they can pick up on inauthenticity, right? And if they
Right.
don't if they don't pick it up, then they'll pick it up eventually. Because there are some creators who I'm like, I don't know if you've read most of these books that you
Hmm.
that you talk about. And it is what it is.
It is. It
It is what it is. But
is.
I'm like, I'm just like, and the thing is, for my book content, like, as someone who makes a lot of lists, right? For the most part, even if I'm talking about a specific theme, trope, whatever, 9 times out of 10, I've read the book. Like, I try not to even include books in those types of lists that I haven't read, right? And that's what the
Right.
comments are for. People can suggest additional books that apply in the comments, but like, for the most part, I am only talking about things I've read. And that is not necessarily everyone's approach.
Yeah.
So,
So that's shade, right? That's shady.
yeah.
Okay.
And again, to the user, does it matter to the it's I think that's a case by case basis. Do,
Most
do
definitely.
you do you need the creator to have read, like, to do a full review about a book you didn't read is insane.
Most
If you
definitely.
want to just include it in, like, oh, here's a basketball romance, here are 20 basketball romances, and you know that it's a basketball romance, you didn't necessarily read it, that's fine. But like, it is insane to do a review on something you have not read. But then again, some people do, and I think what people forget about book content is like, Reading is like the prerequisite for this, right? Like,
The step one,
you
read.
gotta read. But anyways,
Hey.
what's the next one?
Next question. Okay. Someone invites you to an event but expects you to promote it for free because it'll be good exposure. Is that
I
going
don't.
on faith or shade?
That's shade. I like, and here's the thing: you got to find
Mhm.
the balance between like, oh, I want to go to this event because I'm naturally interested in this event, right? And of course, you do a little, you do a little story, a little video, a little thing, but like,
Mhm.
you're not going to get that much labor if it's a free event. The
Right.
only the like and like the thing is, I may not post about it at all. Like, your expectation as the brand, as the organizer, needs to be zero. Like, you're not demanding deliverables from me
Come
because
on.
of that. And then also, I'm also at a place in my content creation career where it's like, I'm not going to every event, right? Because uh this is taking out this is taking more out of me than not, right? Because when you invite
Mhm.
me to something, if you don't provide an Uber code, I gotta deal with transportation. I gotta find an outfit. Da, 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 da. And some things are just not worth going to anymore.
Right.
Right? Especially if I've been to something like this a million times. I don't need to go to another bar opening, another hotel rooftop opening, whatever. So sometimes you have to evaluate being like, what is me attending this event going to do for
For
me?
me. Mhm.
Right? And sometimes just like, I'm not about to go to every little thing. And a year, 2 years ago, I felt like I had to go to every little thing. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to every little thing anymore because, again, that's y'all are not y'all the people not even doing Uber codes for real, right? There are only a
That
handful of brands
15% don't mean nothing.
there are a handful of brands that always provide like a transportation type of code.
Mhm.
But like, so yeah, you gotta pick and choose. You can't go to
So that's
everything.
that's that's your answer. Final answer is shade.
Yeah, yeah. If you're expecting deliverables, there needs to be a budget. I can come
Okay.
to this event and do nothing, essentially. So if you want
Yeah.
deliverables, if you're requiring deliverables, there needs to be a budget.
Yeah. All right. Last one. An author sends you a book and DMs you every other day asking if you've read it and when you're going to review it. Do you respond in good faith or do you respond with a shady response?
It's gonna have to be shade. Okay, so this is where I'm at with book reviews. So
Okay.
for the most part, I'm not on like officially, I'm not accepting book reviews and book review requests and book mail requests at the moment. Like,
Mhm.
I'm so busy, like pretty much for the last 2-3 months. um every most authors who've emailed me, I've been like, hey, I'm not taking on any review request or book mail right now because I need to prepare for this book tour, this book panel, this book panel. It's
Mhm.
book festival season is upon us.
Yes, it is.
Right? I'm going to be in conversation with like 10 authors this book festival season. I need to prepare for that. So like, I simply do not have the time. And the thing about book reviews, ooh, okay, here's the thing. And that's why I don't do a lot of arcs or arc programs
Me
or
neither,
street
Talia.
teams,
Mhm.
because it's like, I cannot have the pressure to read a book when you want me to read it, to make
Mhm.
content to review it when you want me to. Like, I cannot be under that timeline.
Mhm.
So like, that's why I don't even like sign up for arcs no more. If a publisher wants to send me an arc, that's fine. And even then, I'm an audiobook girly. So a publisher will email me like, do you want an arc? Do you want a da da da? I'll be like, I'm not accepting book mail right now. I am prioritizing and prefer audiobooks. So when the ALC becomes available, I'd love to receive it. Here's my
Smart.
NetGalley email. Here's my PRH audio email. Here's my Google Play Store. Like,
Give them the things to get you the
yeah.
things.
So yeah, the thing about book reviews, I it's too much pressure for
It
me.
is.
Like, and that's why I rarely accept arcs and free books at this moment. Like, if a big five publisher wants to mail me a finished copy, They know what it is. I'll post it to stories. If I read it, I'll talk about it. But like, I don't want, say, a smaller author or an indie author to email me. I accept the book. And then there is this expectation, although there technically shouldn't be because we're not in a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even accept books for real at this point because one, I don't want to be forced to read something that I don't want to read. I wouldn't otherwise read
I agree.
if it was left up to me. And I also don't want the pressure of reviewing a book in your timeline and to your liking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and then again, I'm really, really busy, right? So
Yeah.
um I do enough reading like that's obligatory for panels, for events, etc. So I already have a lot of obligatory reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I my plate is already full. So yeah, I rarely accept ARCs, ALCs, um, and free books at this point because again,
It's a lot.
there's this unspoken expectation, and I also know when an author is reaching out to me, they're doing so in hopes that Talia, with the relatively big platform, talks about my book, and that's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure being seen as someone who can potentially change the trajectory of someone. That's a lot of pressure.
it is.
Like if they're thinking, oh, if Talia talks about my book, this will change the game. That's a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah.
So I try not to take on that type of pressure because you think me talking about your book might change your life, and that's a lot of pressure.
Like, I'm sorry, you still gonna be eating oodles and
That,
noodles when they get through hitting
that's
all
a
them
that's
that
a
like
lot.
button.
That's a lot
That's
of
a lot of
pressure.
pressure. Yeah, I
Um,
will.
um,
I will say too. When I first came into the book space, you the shiny new content creator. You got all these little viral moments or whatever. And I remember the day I put on threads, authors, I love y'all. Don't send that arc. I'm sorry. I just don't send it. Like, between this ADHD and this tism, baby, I read and I let it be known. I don't even do, book counts at the end of the year. I read what I want when I want, right? And I
mhm,
won't even necessarily call it mood reading. It's just I'm a reader in my capacity, right?
yeah.
And I remember this author, and we left back to this day. She DM'd me. She said, I wanted to send you this arc so bad, but I remember when you said 2 months ago on threads, don't even do
And I mean,
it.
certain authors, I have a relationship, I have a rapport with.
Right.
It is well documented. They're one of my favorite authors. If you want to send me something, send it. But like, also, I may not be able to do a full review before your release date, right? Of course, I'm going to
Right.
shout you out. I'm going to say thank you. You know,
But then as far as
but
it can
like
go.
but like expecting like full deliverables, it's so much
And
pressure.
and and again, let's call things things. That's work. Me
It is,
reading your
yeah.
book and doing a review, setting up my camera, getting the light right, getting the makeup right, getting the editing right, making sure I got all the cute little ticks. That's work. That
It's work.
it's
It is
work.
work. It is work.
So
So yeah, I
yeah,
do think in an ideal world with unlimited resources, if you send a book to a creator, whatever happens happens, right?
ultimately.
But that's not the utopia that we live in, right? Especially small authors, indie authors. That's their resources mailing you a book or
Right.
giving you a book funnel or whatever. So I understand they need to be more selective and discriminatory with who they reach out to, who they engage with, but essentially, um you shouldn't
Essentially,
it
the
shouldn't
game
be
is
a
the game.
you shouldn't expect
Yeah.
a review or a
Right.
positive review to go further. Um,
Hmm.
but I understand with limited resources, you do have to be more discerning, right?
Most
But
definitely.
like the big publishers, I'll take your book, but unless it's a campaign, I may not read it. I may not read it in time.
Hmm.
And then honestly, send me an ALC. I have too many books. Like, send me an ALC because I'm gonna
Yeah.
listen to it anyway. And I don't like keeping arcs, like physical arcs, because it's like now there's a finished book. Why am I keeping this physical arc? So for me, as someone who prefers audiobooks anyway, sending me a galley, sending me an arc is wasteful on your part, because I'm going to donate the galley. Like,
Right.
and I only want finished books on my bookshelf. So, and then I only listen to audiobooks. So just
Yeah.
send me the ALC when it becomes available, please.
Most definitely.
So yeah.
So, final answer. You telling the author, you giving them a shady response.
I'm telling the author, unfortunately, I am not accepting book review requests right now as I prepare um, for book festival season and the panels I'm moderating for
Right.
book festival season. That's my answer. And
Okay.
I keep a screenshot of an email. So
Listen.
the,
Woo!
that's so
Woo!
that is my answer, because
You know.
I don't have the time.
Right.
I
Right.
really don't, like, and for the little time I do have, I want to read at leisure. So
Right. I understand. All right. Before I let you get out of here, you keep saying book festival season, book festival. So just let the girls know where you gonna be, what you gonna be doing, when we gonna see you, when we gonna get the love on you.
I'm so excited. So I'm gonna go in chronological order. So Chocolate City Lit is April 25th here in Washington, D.C. To my knowledge, it's sold out. The resale window has closed, but that's an inaugural event. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I'm at liberty to say, but I am moderating a panel.
Okay.
It's an urban romance panel, and I'm gonna stop at that. I don't think I
Okay.
should disclose the
Don't give
authors.
away the don't give away the trade secret.
That's
We get it.
April 25th in DC, so down the street.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the girl math is kind of like, there is the
It
girl
made
math.
sense.
This is free. This is free. So so
Understand. Understand.
so I don't count when I talk about I can't afford to go to every book event. That next weekend, I'm going to be in St. Louis for Petals and Prose. That's A Blossom and Brianna Michelle's
Yes.
inaugural book event, and I'm just going as a reader. I'm just
Yes.
going as a reader. Black Romance Book Fest is the big one, the big dog.
The big dog. Oh.
May 29th through 31st.
Mm-hmm.
I am moderating the Sunday keynote with Kennedy Ryan, Casey Mills, Alexandria House, Natasha Bishop, and Christina C. Jones. So I'm moderating the Sunday morning keynote panel
Yes.
about the soft life. And then I'm also presenting a creator workshop about monetization. So we're going to talk about um, monetizing, because I do think I've been fortunate enough to like make pretty good money as a book creator. So I want to kind of talk about, here are all my streams of income as a creator.
Right.
And something I really want to drive home in that workshop is that um, you have to think outside of the book box,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And like we talked about earlier, you don't just read books, and your audience doesn't just read books. So um, you get to have the deals with the Hulus and the Amazons and the Lifetimes and the Ami Coles and the Juvia's Places, like me, right? Because you are not just a reader, right? Um,
Right.
and then I'll be at the creator meet and greet on Sunday. Yes. And then what am I doing next? Uh, is that three? How many
That's three. That's
did I
three.
name three?
You did.
Um, so this has the date is out there, so I think I'm at liberty to say um Petersburg Book Festival in Petersburg, Virginia, so like
Ooh.
30 minutes south of Richmond. They're doing their second annual book festival. It's put on by Resist Booksellers, the Black-owned bookstore in Petersburg. So it's a very
Mm-hmm.
Black book event. I'm definitely going to be down there, even as just a reader. I went as just a reader last year, but more details about Petersburg Book Fest is coming out in the coming weeks. So make sure you're following Resist Booksellers. And then I'll be at Southern Hearts, Signed Kisses in Columbia
That's
in
the one right
October
there. Yes.
as just a reader, just a reader. And I forgot, I'm also going to be at Empire State of Stories in
I'm about to say, I
July.
think you missing one
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
gonna see
yeah.
you
No,
twice
I
this
knew I was
year.
missing one. I knew I was missing. I'm going to be at Empire State of Stories in Brooklyn, July 10th, 11th, and 12th, and that's Jacquel J's book event. And I'm going to be a creator there, so I'll be creating
Yeah.
content And I'll be in Brooklyn. So it's gonna be great. So yeah, those are the six. Those are the six for this
Booked
year. And
and busy.
it's not gonna be six next year. Um
Listen,
it's only gonna be six if it's
if
only
it's
gonna the only two I'm coming out of pocket for in 2027. The only event I'm coming out of pocket for in 2027 is Alexandria House's The House Party in Las Vegas. I went as a
listen,
creator last year. Um, that is an event I will come out of pocket for.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, 2027.
Listen, Talia
Book,
said,
book,
"Put me
book,
up,
book,
fly me out,
book
or I
me. And
ain't there."
the thing is, I'm willing to do the work, right?
Yeah, most
I'm
definitely.
willing to moderate, right? I love moderating. I've been in conversation with like 40 authors, over the last 2 years.
Such a gracious queen.
I love moderating. I love
Such a gracious
moderating.
queen.
So put me to work, and I'm
Yeah.
good at it. Put me to work.
Yes.
But again,
Yes.
hotel flight, please. So yeah,
Please.
that's it.
And an
That's
Uber
it.
code. An Uber code.
Yeah, and the thing about these book events, I don't even need an Uber. I need an Uber code from the airport, but like I don't leave the
Right.
venue. Like I remember for Black Romance Book Fest, um, I think I only ate room service for those 3 days.
Oh wow.
Like it was
Okay.
that intense, and I only went as a reader and a creator, but
Right.
it was still intense in that like um again, I cannot be invisible at these things. I cannot be incognito at these things. So like the peopling, um
Yes.
so I only ate room service. When I found like at least an hour free time, I'd go back to the room for the hour, come back like so I only need Uber to and from the airport. I don't even need Uber to Gallivant because there's no time to Gallivant.
There's
So
no time. Yeah, and I'm glad you drove that home that content creation, influencing, even podcasting, it is work.
it
So
is.
value us. And I remember, and I will say this, I promise you, every time I get to talking about this space, this community, you said something to me during an interview at Black Book Bash. You said we're in an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody plays a role in this ecosystem, whether you're an author, a creator, a narrator, publisher, agent, we're all in this together, and you have to make sure you're feeding those ecosystems. So, we want to see this space work, we want to build community, but we have to be realistic in the process, right? So,
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
Well, Miss Talia Cadet, you just don't know. This has made my day. I want to thank you so much for agreeing to see little old me on my little old
No,
podcast.
it's not little. It's not little.
You
I am
know,
so proud of you
thank you so
for
much.
doing Oh Please Charlie. And like I know you do your podcast with Niche. But I love seeing you do your own thing. And again, when you reached out, I'm like, of course, of
Yeah.
course, of
I
course.
was like, I just
Cause
hope she ain't busy.
no, and like and the thing is like I really love and appreciate what you do. And like when I say you're one of the realest in this
Oh,
space, you are. So it was a pleasure.
yes, likewise. We gotta do it again. I know not right now. I probably have to catch 2028, baby. I'm just glad I got in
Yeah.
2026. But I do thank you so much, and I do thank you for what you bring to this space and the amount of knowledge that you have with influence and content creation, and just you real too. You letting the girls know, hey, know your worth and add text, and I'm a
Know your
forever.
worth and add tax.
I thank you for
Because
that.
we all should be making a little coin.
Yeah,
And I know everyone isn't. Because what you do is valuable. So
yeah. Well, people, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Old Charlie Please. Let's clap it up one more time for Talia Cadet. She is this will be available next week. I gotta edit and put it together, but it will be available on all listening platforms. It'll be on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon Music, and Talia, you gonna be on Audible, girl. Your girl got a podcast
yeah, yeah, wherever.
YouTube. So if you want to look at us, be cute, you can do that too. I just want to thank you again, and we'll see you next time, Talia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Bye.
Bye.